A major political storm appears to be building inside the ADC coalition talks, and the latest reports surrounding former Rivers State Governor Rotimi Amaechi and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar are already creating serious debate across Nigeria's political space. Reports and insider discussions suggest that tensions may be rising over who could eventually emerge as the coalition's preferred presidential candidate ahead of the next general election. And now, claims that Amaechi allegedly walked out of a key meeting have added even more fuel to an already heated conversation. What is making this situation more interesting is that many Nigerians expected opposition figures to present a united front after months of talks about building a stronger alliance. But instead, what people are seeing now are signs of disagreement, suspicion, and possible power struggles behind closed doors. If these reports continue to grow, this could become one of the biggest political battles within the opposition movement itself. And before we continue, if you enjoy balanced political updates like this, take a second to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this report with others following Nigeria's political developments. Also, drop your thoughts in the comment section because this conversation is already dividing opinions across the country. Now, according to political discussions making rounds in recent days, concerns reportedly started after claims emerged that some influential figures within the ADC coalition structure may be considering backing Atiku as a possible consensus candidate. While no final official announcement has been made, the speculation alone appears to have triggered strong reactions from different camps involved in the talks. For many observers, the issue is not just about Atiku himself. The bigger concern is whether the coalition process is truly open and fair to all stakeholders, or whether certain powerful politicians are already trying to shape the outcome behind the scenes. That is where the reported frustration from Amaechi's camp is believed to be coming from. Amaechi remains one of the biggest political names in Nigeria's southern region. Over the years, he has built influence both within the APC and nationally through his role as former Minister of Transportation. Since the last election cycle, political analysts have continued to watch his movements carefully because many believe he still has presidential ambitions or at least significant influence in any future coalition arrangement. So when reports surfaced suggesting that ADC structures could eventually tilt toward Atiku, several supporters of Amaechi reportedly began questioning the direction of the talks. According to accounts circulating among political insiders, tensions increased during private discussions over zoning, candidate selection, and the future leadership structure of the coalition movement. Then came the claim that Amaechi allegedly walked out of a meeting after disagreements became intense. Now, it is important to state clearly that different versions of the story are currently circulating, and not all details have been independently verified. Some accounts suggest the disagreement was specifically tied to presidential ticket discussions, while others claim it involved broader coalition arrangements and power-sharing concerns. Still, the symbolism of such a move, if accurate, is very significant politically. In Nigerian politics, walking out of a meeting is often interpreted as a strong sign of dissatisfaction. It sends a message that trust may be weakening and that negotiations are becoming more difficult. For many Nigerians watching from outside, this development also raises an important question. Can the opposition truly remain united long enough to challenge the ruling party effectively? Because history has shown that coalition politics in Nigeria can become complicated very quickly once discussions about presidential tickets begin. One major issue at the center of these conversations is zoning. Since Nigeria returned to democracy in 1999, debates over power rotation between the North and South have remained extremely sensitive. Many Southern politicians and supporters believe the presidency should remain in the South after President Bola Tinubu's current tenure. Others argue that political parties should simply field whoever they believe has the best chance of winning nationally. That disagreement alone has created tension within several political groups over the years. So if reports suggesting support for Atiku within ADC structures are true, some southern stakeholders may naturally feel uncomfortable, especially those who believe another northern candidacy could create political backlash. Atiku himself remains one of the most experienced opposition politicians in Nigeria. He has contested for the presidency multiple times and continues to maintain strong political networks across different regions. His supporters believe he has the experience, national recognition, and political machinery needed to compete strongly in future elections. But critics within opposition circles argue that repeating familiar political formulas may not produce different results. Some younger voters and reform-minded supporters have continued pushing for newer faces, fresh strategies, and stronger regional balance. That is why discussions around coalition politics have become so emotionally charged. Interestingly, this entire situation also highlights how difficult coalition building can be in Nigeria. On paper, bringing opposition forces together sounds simple. But in reality, every major politician enters negotiations with ambitions, loyal supporters, regional interests, and long-term calculations. One group may prioritize electability, another may prioritize zoning, others may focus on control of party structures, campaign funding, or influence over future appointments. Once all these interests collide inside one room, disagreements become almost unavoidable. Political analysts say what happens next could determine whether the coalition gains momentum or slowly weakens before it fully stabilizes. If influential figures begin losing confidence in the process, smaller supporters may also become divided. And once public disagreements start becoming visible, rival parties often take advantage of those cracks politically. At the same time, some observers believe these tensions are actually normal in coalition negotiations. They argue that strong disagreements often happen before final agreements are reached. According to that view, heated meetings do not automatically mean the coalition is collapsing. Instead, they may simply reflect the intense bargaining that comes with high-stakes politics. That perspective is important because Nigerian political alliances have survived internal disputes before. Politicians sometimes clash publicly and still return to negotiate later. So while current reports are attracting attention, it may still be too early to conclude that the coalition effort is completely breaking apart. However, perception matters a lot in politics. And right now, the perception being created online is that there may already be serious divisions over leadership ambitions. Social media discussions have exploded, with supporters from different camps defending their preferred politicians and accusing others of trying to dominate the coalition process. Some commenters believe Amaechi's alleged reaction shows growing resistance against any attempt to hand automatic advantage to Atiku. Others argue that Atiku remains the most recognizable opposition figure and therefore deserves consideration. Meanwhile, another group says the coalition should focus less on personalities and more on presenting clear solutions to Nigeria's economic and security challenges. That last point is especially important because many ordinary Nigerians are less concerned about political rivalry and more focused on daily survival. Rising living costs, inflation, insecurity, unemployment, and economic uncertainty continue affecting millions of families across the country. So while politicians negotiate alliances and tickets, citizens are also asking whether these political movements will eventually translate into real improvements in governance. And this is where coalition credibility becomes very important. Nigerians tend to support political movements that appear organized, disciplined, and focused. But when internal disputes dominate headlines too early, public confidence can weaken quickly. Another issue observers are watching closely is whether ADC leadership will publicly address the controversy. Official clarification could help calm tensions and reduce speculation. But silence may also allow rumors to spread further, especially online, where political narratives move extremely fast. There is also the broader strategic question facing opposition figures. If too many strong politicians compete internally without compromise, the coalition could become fragmented before elections even begin. On the other hand, forcing consensus too early without broad agreement could also create resentment among major stakeholders. That balancing act is one of the hardest parts of coalition politics anywhere in the world, not just Nigeria. Every camp wants fairness, influence, and respect. But eventually, difficult decisions must be made, and not everyone would be satisfied with the outcome. For Amaechi specifically, this period could become politically defining. Whether he chooses confrontation, negotiation, or strategic silence may shape how supporters interpret his future role within the coalition movement. Some analysts believe he may still hold significant bargaining power because of his political experience and connections across different regions. For Atiku, the situation also carries political risks and opportunities. On one side, growing discussions about his possible candidacy show he still remains highly relevant nationally. But on the other side, perceptions that any process is being tilted in his favor too early could trigger resistance from other ambitious politicians within the coalition. As these discussions continue, Nigerians will likely keep watching for three key things. First, whether coalition talks remain united or become more divided publicly. Second, whether zoning debates become more intense. And third, whether the opposition can eventually present a clear and credible political direction that convinces undecided voters. For now, much of the conversation is still based on political reports, insider claims, and ongoing speculation. So it is important for viewers to separate confirmed facts from political rumor. In Nigerian politics, narratives often change very quickly, depending on negotiations happening behind closed doors. Still, one thing is clear already. The battle for influence inside the opposition space may be entering a new phase, and the coming months could reveal major shifts in alliances, loyalties, and political strategies across the country. If you followed this story to this point, let us know your thoughts. Do you think coalition politics can truly unite Nigeria's opposition figures, or do personal ambitions always make unity difficult in the end? Share your opinion respectfully in the comment section. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future political updates and major developments from across Nigeria. Stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll continue bringing you balanced discussions on the stories shaping the country today.